Have you dreamed of waking up to something like this? If you're into beachy vibes, you're not going to want to miss these 3 neighborhoods in San Francisco that give you that beach lifestyle. And I'm going to take you inside a house in one of these neighborhoods. It's actually my house. Going to give you the inside scoop of what it's like to live in these 3 neighborhoods, 2 of which I've lived in myself, so I'll give you the inside scoop. Spoiler alert, the neighborhoods that are on the beach here are not like they are in Los Angeles or San Diego. They're foggier, sleepier, colder, so it's not that kind of traditional California beach lifestyle, but it has a ton of character, a lot of surf culture, and I'm gonna give you the inside scoop of what it's like to live here. Also, if you like content like this, we're always posting new videos on Monday, so go and take a watch. Okay, first on our list is a neighborhood that's near and dear to my heart. It's the Richmond district of San Francisco. It's the neighborhood that I live in. More specifically, the part that's touching the ocean is the outer Richmond. So you have inner Richmond, central Richmond, outer Richmond. And then even more sort of intricate into it is what's called Sutro Heights. We are in Sutro Heights Park right now. It's actually a very lesser known park. It's so beautiful. It goes right up to the ocean and it sits on this cliff overlooking the ocean. What I love about it is it connects to all these amazing parks. So if you walk this way, you hit the Sutro Baths and Land's End. Land's End connects all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's this like patchwork of all these different parks that are connected. This is the start of it, and a lot of people don't know that Sutro Heights exists. I don't think you'd really find it on most maps or the list of neighborhoods in San Francisco, but it's this little pocket of the outer Richmond, and it's the piece that hits directly to the ocean. It's the neighborhood that I live in as well. What I love about it is obviously the Richmond versus like the Sunset neighborhood is elevated, so it's more on a cliff. So all of the properties here are overlooking the ocean. We are actually going to go in a few minutes take a look at my house, which is also overlooking the ocean, but it's not as walkable, it's not as flat, but you get the views instead. So there's always that sort of trade-off in San Francisco, one or the other. Another thing that I'm going to show you in a few minutes after we go into my house is there's this really secret and beautiful passageway to get from the top of the hill where we are right now in this park all the way down to the beach. Most people don't know about it, but a lot of times you'll see surfers with surfboards kind of walking down this beautiful kind of cliffside. It's tucked away in all this greenery and flowers. I'll show you in a second, but I love this little secret path and takes you right down to the beach. Okay, let's go take a look at what a house is like in this neighborhood. We're gonna go inside my condo, and I bought it because of the views. So let's go take a look inside. I'll walk you around what it's like to live here in Sutro Heights and Outer Richmond. Welcome to my house. I cleaned up a little bit for you. I want to show you what it's like to live in the Richmond, why I bought this house, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, because everyone has things they want to fix in their house. So I'm going to take you through it. So we're in the living room right now. We come right off of the main stairwell. It's a 3-unit building. It's actually a TIC, a tenancy in common, a little bit different from condos. We do have some content on that, so check out our channel if you want to understand TICs a bit more. But basically, I bought this property, I'll show you in a second, but I bought it because of the massive views. It's absolutely stunning. I've never really seen views quite like this position in this neighborhood. So my husband and I bought about 2.5 years ago. We decided to buy this particular property because we felt very strongly about being in this neighborhood because we absolutely love it. We have a lot of friends in the neighborhood and we weren't really willing to compromise on location at this point in our lives, at least. We didn't have kids at that point. And so we picked a condo or a TIC property instead of a single family home because we knew we wanted to be here. The price point made it such that we wanted, that we needed to get something like this property. And once we saw the view, we were completely sold. So let me kind of walk you through the property. It's a 1950s construction, so you'll see there's some parquet flooring here that's original to the property, at least we think. You know, obviously a fireplace, wood burning that kind of structures the center of the home. And then a pretty, of course, massive TV that is kind of the center of the living room. The orientation of the couch is a little bit funky. It's not perfect because You want to see the view that we're going to show you in a second, but it kind of has to float in the middle of the room. So always thinking about that when you're buying a property, if you care about where your TV is where do you put the couch? So let's go take a sneak peek at the balcony actually. We'll show you what the view looks like. So this is a pretty spectacular view. You see obviously the ocean, but the thing I love about it is it's oriented in such a way where you can actually see so much of San Francisco as well. All that greenery that you see there is Golden Gate Park. And then you see just the hillsides there. That's Golden Gate Heights you see over there. You have Sutro Tower. So it's really cool to just see a mix of San Francisco and all the buildings here, but also get the kind of beachy feel of having the ocean behind you. My husband comes out here every morning. He's a big surfer. He'll stand here. He will take videos of the ocean, send it to all of his surfing friends, tell them how the wave conditions are, and it's pretty perfect. A lot of people have to resort to looking at like webcams of the ocean so they know how the waves look, but he just steps out of his house. The con about some properties like this is when you're up here, this is the top floor of the three floors, you don't have outdoor space. So my husband really likes to garden, and he has resorted to having like 10 planter boxes or pots out here, and that's really the gist of our outdoor space. So we just had a kid recently. When you have kids, obviously, you know, you want like a yard of some sort. So we don't have that, but we have Sutro Park nearby. We have the ocean. We have Golden Gate Park. So that's kind of our compromise in the meantime. Let's walk. Actually, before I go into the dining room, I want to kind of tell you about some updates that we made. There was some leakage that came from this sliding door prior to us purchasing. So we had to put in a new glass door. That's the thing about beachy homes, especially ones up on the cliff, is that in San Francisco, your house is basically subject to a lot of elements. So the fog, the salty air. So it can kind of chip away at the back of your house. So people in this neighborhood really have to focus on painting their property. And we had to focus on putting in new sliders. So those are new. If you've ever seen sliders put into your house, it's very cool. I thought they were gonna have to kind of like cut into the wall and like repaint everything, but they just like cut out the old one, inserted the new one, and it was very cool to watch them do it. So let's go into the dining room. Obviously, when you live in San Francisco, you have a limited number of spots for things like kids' toys. So we have kids' toys in our dining room. We obviously can sit here and look at the beautiful ocean, which is really, really special. One other thing that we did in terms of home improvement when we moved in, we redid this storage space. So amazing to have storage like this in our house, because it's a 1,300 plus square foot home, not a lot of storage space. So this is really, really nice. We have like a pen drawer here. We have some toys and games. We have all of like our tax documents in one of them. So all the stuff that you want to just not have people see goes in here. What we did here, before there's this wood block here, there was kind of like a dingy green, it almost looked like an office, like filing cabinet room, plasticky countertop, and we pulled that out and just put this really nice wood instead. And then the color of this cabinetry was just kind of a dull color. So we thought about doing a bolder color, but it's kind of nice when you have this beautiful setting to just have something really neutral, something beachy, and then redid the knobs here. So, probably, I don't know, $5,000 worth of work that makes a huge difference, at least to us, in terms of the kind of aesthetics of the house. Okay, so we're done with the main living space. This is the highlight of the home. What people really like about this sort of layout that we have here is it's an open floor plan. So you have the kitchen, the dining, and the living all concentrated. I kind of like the fact that there's a little bit of a divider here. So it still feels open, but you don't stare at your dirty dishes when you're sitting in your living room. And then also all of the living space is focused on the view. So that is the perfect kind of placement and position for a view in a home is in the living space. And then also, even though the balcony is quite small, that is where you want your living space as well, connected to the living space, or that's where you want your outdoor space to be, sorry. Outdoor space, living space, and view all connected means a more premium for your property. So I'm gonna quickly take you into the bedrooms and bathrooms. It's the least sexy part of the home, but I wanna give you a sense of layout and sort of what you get for your money. So let's take a look. A lot of people in San Francisco really want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, which is what this is. It's really nice for the square footage that you have all of that. It's very efficiently sort of laid out in this property. So you have one shared bath here. The 3rd bedroom is on the smaller side, so it's of course our nursery. So you can take a peek in there. And then this bedroom is our secondary bedroom. So a guest bedroom, visitors, and then I'll take you into the primary. So always pros and cons with every property in San Francisco, depending on the price point. In our house, probably the biggest thing that we're lacking is we do not have a washer dryer in unit. We share with our neighbors downstairs. And then the previous owners blew out the bathroom and the closet space to make one sort of giant ensuite. So you have a bathroom in there, but you don't have a closet in your primary, which is kind of a cardinal sin. So before we go to sell this place, although it's worked fine for us, we will probably install some sort of cabinetry here on the side, or maybe just a big armoire so that the next owner can really visualize a proper primary that has a closet. So always renovations to do. You can't tackle them all at once. So we're chipping away. We've been here again like 2.5 years. So always projects as a homeowner. What I want you to think about is what you think the cost of this house is. In a few minutes, I'll tell you what I paid for it and we'll see if you guessed correct. Next, we're gonna go to the Richmond neighborhood. We're obviously in Sutro Heights right now, but I wanna take you down to that kind of secret pathway down to the main area where the beach is, show you some of my favorite spots, including my favorite coffee shop, my gym, and a really fun non-alcoholic bar shop. So stay tuned for the inside scoop there. Okay, I want to show you this really pretty pathway down to the beach. Sometimes I take this way, sometimes I take the actual street. Depends what kind of shoes I'm wearing. Today I'm wearing heeled boots, which is not great for this, but we're gonna go anyway. Okay, so you have all these homes around you, and then Sutro Park, which is where we were before, is up here. And so it's right where Sutro Park meets the houses. So just follow me. Okay, so you already are getting a peek of the ocean from here. It's not paved or anything, you're just walking on sand, but just follow the sand path and you'll hopefully figure out where to go. But look at this beautiful peekaboo view of the ocean. There's always graffiti in cities, so of course you have this beautiful ocean and then graffiti on the side of the fence, but you know, it's art. So if you take this path on the left and then follow this curve, there's also some other paths over here. There's a guy walking one of them, and that takes you up to the main Sutro Heights Park. This is the route you take if you want to get down. Okay, how freaking beautiful is this? You have these stairs here hugging the backside of some of these properties, but then you just get this epic view and takes you all the way down to the street. So one of the differences, the next neighborhood that we're gonna go to after this is a flatter, probably beachier neighborhood than this. But this is, the Richmond has these epic hillsides. So with hillsides come steepness, more glute exercises. My gym is actually at the bottom of this hill. We'll show you in a second. So every morning I come from the top of the hill down to the gym. Actually, not every morning, that's a lie. Down to the gym and get a little workout on my way. And I feel like every day I do like 3 blocks of hills just getting to my house. And all my visitors that come from out of town, like Chicago, which is completely flat, are Very surprised that they have to endure a lot of hills. But anyway, once we get to the bottom of the hill, I'm gonna show you some of my favorite spots. My gym, a coffee shop that's right on the ocean. But all of these, as you can see, we're a block from the beach. So all of these businesses are right on the ocean. Think about like a Santa Monica, or I'm trying to think of other beach towns in SoCal, but it's a lot sleepier. So I'm surprised as someone that's not from California that you wouldn't have a million businesses here, a million restaurants, because wouldn't everybody want to be by the ocean? Isn't that the prime spot of any location by the water? But no, it's honestly the opposite in San Francisco, which is so interesting. It's a lot quieter here, sleepier here, probably because of the fog, but also maybe because, historically people going downtown every day, they want to be closer to downtown San Francisco proper, this is on the opposite side of the city. So for whatever reason, also I think like just the building and development of the city, this was built, I think, later than a lot of the homes in San Francisco, but for whatever reason, it is kind of sleepy out here. You have a few restaurants and shops, at least at the water's edge. Later, I'll take you to Balboa Street, which is what we're on now, but we'll go further inland where there's more kind of happening vibes. But for now, let's go past my gym. I love this gym because it's a local gym, I think owned by, I forget if he lives in the Richmond or the Sunset, but by a local San Franciscan who lives on this part of town. It's a 24-hour gym, so you just get a code and put your digits in every morning whenever you want to come in. But I just love small businesses, and that's why I love this gym. It's not one of those big mega gyms, but called Muscle Beach, hence being right by the ocean, but kind of a small gym, but super clean, and you get to know a lot of the people there because it's kind of an intimate setting. These are all condos around us. Most of the Richmond is single family homes, but when you get closer to the ocean, you get more of the condo developments, which is kind of interesting. Coming up here is Ocean Beach Cafe. It is one of the first non-alcoholic bars, I think in the country maybe. But you can go inside here, you can grab a sandwich for lunch. They're open for dinner, I think too. I haven't been for dinner, but you can get a cocktail at the bar. It's all non-alcoholic. You can get non-alcoholic beers, wines, cocktails. And then you can also, there's a shelf with a bunch of to-go kind of pre-made mocktails. And so it's really fun. When I was pregnant, I went there all the time. But I haven't gone for dinner, so I need to check that out soon. I think their sandwiches are supposed to be really good. So that's Ocean Beach Cafe. Let's pause for a second maybe and go, we're gonna walk another block. Won't subject you to all these condos here, but let's check back in a second and we'll go to my favorite coffee shop, which is on the ocean. I go there almost every morning, even though I have a coffee maker at home. But let's take a look. Okay, so we're here right next to the ocean at my favorite coffee shop. I'm kind of confused a little bit. It's called Ocean Plant, I think, but they serve Andytown coffee, so I think it's also Andytown. But it's at the base of a large condo complex that sits on the water. It actually used to be a surf shop, I think since like the 70s, maybe the 60s, but it was, a kind of an epic surfboard shop right next to the water. And then in the last, I think, year or two, it became a coffee shop. And I love it because you can literally look at the ocean while you're sitting there. So let's walk to the ocean. This is kind of my morning path that I like to take, go up from my house down to get a coffee and then come over here to the ocean trail. This sort of ocean path goes from, basically it goes from Sutro Heights Park all the way to the zoo, which is about 4 miles, maybe a little bit more of pathway. So it's really nice. It hugs the water the whole time. And one thing I want to point out here is surf culture. So San Francisco, Ocean Beach, this is an epic surf spot. People from all over the world know about Ocean Beach and the waves that are here. I think the Sunset probably has a higher sort of concentration of surfers maybe because there's a wider width of territory that has single family homes on the water versus The Richmond actually only has about 2 blocks worth of home inventory directly on the water, so it doesn't give as much of that beachy feel. But one of the best surf breaks is right here up where those rocks are. It's called Kelly's Cove. I'm not a surf expert, but my husband surfs a lot, so I hear some of the lingo and some of the chatter, so I'll try my best to explain it. But I think it's like a cove, essentially, that is really good for the wave break, and it's kind of an epic place that has been world-renowned for a long time. You see these pictures from like the 1960s, 1970s when this beach was just flooded with surfers and surfboards, especially this kind of pocket. And it's so beautiful right here because you're right up against the Marin Headlands. You have that rock formation out there, and then just this expanse of the Sutro Heights Park. It's just a beautiful setting. And what's also cool is I think I've never been in the water so far out, but I think when you're pretty far out, you can also see like all of the hills of San Francisco, especially when you're surfing at night. You kind of get this like sparkly view of the city. So it's just a beautiful place as a surfer. You have such an expansive amount of actual sand here as well. The tide I think is further out right now, but like look at how much space you have just to lounge in the beach. You'll notice it's a beautiful sunny Friday and there's not a lot of people out here. It just doesn't give off that like LA, San Diego vibe, as I mentioned before, because it's generally foggier here. So you're not seeing people just like laying out on their beach towels, getting a suntan, or people frolicking in the ocean, because the ocean break is actually a little bit sketchy too. You want to be really cautious in Ocean Beach because the waves can have quite a bit of a current. And so it's just not your kind of LA beach feel, but it's beautiful nonetheless. And I'd say it's more of the surf vibe than anything else. You also get like crab fishermen and just general fishermen catching local fish. So that's kind of the vibe here. I don't know if you can see it from here. Maybe Landry can zoom in, but there's some little kind of black boxes on the beach, and those are fire pits. So about half the year there's public fire pits that you can just first come first serve, come out and use. And especially on a really warm day, you'll see all these kind of twinkling fires, and it's really fun. People love the kind of fire vibe. You'll see, and I can see from my house, a lot of people they ignite fireworks, which I don't actually know if it's illegal or not, but we see fireworks, I'd say like once a week maybe in this neighborhood, people just lighting them from the beach. So that's a little bit more about the kind of vibes out here in the Richmond. I want to show you a few more of my favorite businesses in this area, so you get a sense for what there is to do here besides just being by the beach. And then we'll take you to the second neighborhood on our list, the Sunset, in just a few. Okay, so let's make sure I'm in drive. We are in the car now, obviously, and we're gonna go check out Balboa, which is the main drag in the outer Richmond, where most of the best restaurants are. But on our way, I want to show you one of my favorite little small businesses. It's not on Balboa, so we'll take a quick little detour, but it's just the cutest little place. It's called Butterfly Joint. A lot of people don't know about it, but it is owned by a family that lives actually, I think, above the it's not a restaurant, above the shop. It sells coffee, and then the owner, a guy named Danny, it's on Cabrillo, so we're gonna turn on to Cabrillo right now. He mastered the vegan and gluten-free donut. So he makes them every morning in their house, and then he sells them fresh. And I do not like donuts, which is weird, but they are the only donuts that I like. So it's coming up here on our right, this cute little business with the painted outdoor, it looks like, actually they're not, I don't think they're open, but it's so cute. I'm losing my train of thought because I'm just thinking about the donuts, honestly. But they serve coffee, the donuts, some other pastries too, and then it doubles as a like woodworking shop, I think. So during the summers, you'll see a bunch of kids in there doing summer camp and building things. And then I don't know if they also do like a daycare of sorts, but it's all family run. And from the outside, you wouldn't know it's a coffee shop, but kind of the insider place to go in the mornings. When I have visitors in from out of town, they always demand that we go there. So we're back on Balboa now. So it's about, the start of the commercial strip is about, I don't know, 4 or 5 blocks from the ocean, but super walkable, except the fact that you're kind of going up a hill most of the way. But then you can burn those calories before you go to my favorite restaurant, I think right now in the whole city. I'm a big pizza Italian lover, and I think most of the city has learned about Laundromat by now, but it's my favorite restaurant. The best pizza I think I've ever had in my life, and I love deep dish Chicago pizza, so that's saying a lot, but this is like your Detroit style pizza. It's like, I don't know if Detroit style is just because it's in a square, but it's kind of a mix of deep dish, I think, and thin crust. We're not quite there yet, but I'll point it out in just a second. Okay, so this sign here marks the start of the Balboa commercial strip. We have on our right-hand side here, there's a cute little yoga studio. I've never been. It's called Purusha. I'm probably saying that wrong, honestly. But I know they have like prenatal yoga there too. I think they just reopened after a little stint being closed, but that's Laundromat. They're open for bagels in the morning, amazing bagels and cream cheese. And then at night they have the pizza, really good natural wines there too. I love their kale salad. And then next door to it is a place that my family loves. It's called Butter Love. It's a bake shop. They have some of the butteriest, as the name implies, butteriest croissants that I've ever had. And then at night, a few days a week, they serve hot cookies, like at the same time that everyone's flocking to Laundromat. So kind of a good business model on their part. We'll go to the next block here, and up here on the right, I don't know if it's necessarily a popular restaurant per se, but this place called Miki has really, really good bento boxes and some pretty good ramen too. And then on our left is a movie theater. What's really cool about this movie theater is they play every night. I think they change their sort of old school movie that they play. So they have new movies. I don't know what their new movie is right now, but like we're in October right now. They're playing The Exorcist tonight, and I think every day in October they play a different horror movie. It's a really old school movie theater, but really fun. Devil's Teeth, a lot of people know about Devil's Teeth. They have amazing breakfast sandwiches. That's on our right here. Coffee spot as well. Great breakfast sandwiches, and also beignets on Sundays they serve. Really, really good. And then those are my favorite spots in this area. Some really good go-tos. I love walking from my house to get to those spots. And then you have a bunch of other restaurants here. You have a few Japanese spots here. You have, Iggy's Place here on your right. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but I'm getting excited. Iggy's Place I have never been to, but they've been open for a year, so I'm embarrassed that I haven't been, but they have apparently really great sandwiches during the day. And then you have a bunch of like coffee shops. There's always coffee shops on every street. Simple Pleasures Cafe is a good coffee shop on the left. And then Solito Lindo is a really, really good Mexican restaurant. And then Chino's Taqueria is the second. There's 2 on the street, great kind of down and dirty Mexican spots. So that's Balboa. That's kind of the gist of the outer Richmond in terms of restaurants to go to. Balboa is your main strip. Obviously there's stuff kind of interspersed on other streets, but that's my favorite. And then I want to take you to our number 2 neighborhood. If you haven't guessed by now, I've dropped some hints along the way, but we are headed to the Outer Sunset. The Outer Sunset is probably a beachier neighborhood than the Richmond, and that is because it's flat and it is a very, very wide span of residences that are on the water. So a lot more people get access right up to the ocean than they do in the Richmond. So I think it's just known more, like when you talk about being out in the avenues, people are probably more so thinking about the Sunset than they are the Richmond, but they're sort of the neighboring neighborhoods and interchangeable in a lot of people's minds. So stick around, follow us. We're driving about a 5-minute drive to get on the other side of Golden Gate Park, and We'll show you my former neighborhood. This is where I lived prior to living in the Richmond. We'll give you the inside scoop of the sunset. One of the things that I actually really like about San Francisco when it comes to the beach lifestyle is that you have a huge park, which is Golden Gate Park. That's where we're driving in right now. You have Golden Gate Park, which goes all the way to the ocean. I'm trying to think, honestly, of another spot. I can't think of another city where you have this gorgeous, massive, like Central Park size park that connects right up to the ocean. Or connects right up to a massive body of water. So I feel like that's a really unique part about the San Francisco beach culture. You obviously have Sutro Heights Park, which I have talked about a million times because I just love that area so much. But I think it needs to be said that this park is also right next to the ocean. So you have that really great mix of like the greenery and the kind of peacefulness of the park, and then like the more rugged feel of the ocean and the fog. Okay, so we've made it to the sunset, the outer sunset portion of San Francisco. This is neighborhood number 2 on our list. Again, it's probably the beachiest of the 3 because it has the most access to the ocean. If you see behind me, we're actually standing on some beautiful sand dunes. So a lot of this portion of the beach has dunes, and then you get to the beach proper, but there's people bringing their surfboards out, some people suntanning over here. You don't get a lot of suntanning days in San Francisco, but today is an absolutely perfect day for us. Let's walk. I want to show you up here something that's really special about the kind of trail next to the ocean that I personally love, and I know a lot of Sunset residents love. So I'll take you there in just a second. And in the meantime, I totally forgot to tell you what my property was worth. So any guesses? I paid $1.325 for it at the end of 2022. It was kind of the height of the market before interest rates changed a lot. So who knows what it would sell for today as rates have gone up a little bit. But yeah, that's what a 3-bed, 2-bath. It's about $1,000, just shy of $1,000 a square foot. So that's what you get for a TIC with views. You know, kind of updated, maybe needs some updates in some areas like the bathrooms, a little bit in the kitchen. But anyway, hope you guessed right. So we're getting to one of my favorite parts about this. So you have the street that's called Great Highway. It's actually technically a highway. But right now we're gonna walk across this highway, and on Fridays at I think around noon, the highway here closes, and you can see all these people biking and walking. You'll see people roller skating, little kids out here taking advantage of this open space. So these 4 lanes here right next to the ocean, and then it's closed all weekend long. So you can come out here with your family and go for a run. I love to go for runs out here, and there's a proposition in play right now for this election cycle to actually close, I don't know if you can see the street light over here, but to close all of this roadway here to car traffic, and they'd instead make just a big park in this area. So no more cars taking Great Highway down to the peninsula, for example, and instead it would just be this big ocean park. I think that's what it's going to be called. So a little bit contentious right now. It'll be interesting to see what happens. A lot of people feeling like they don't want it because it could lead to some more congestion in terms of traffic on other thoroughfares. But the people who are for it are, you know, really excited about the possibility of even more open green space, and maybe even some more value for the people in this area in terms of property values, because you just have this access to a beautiful parkway. So we will see what happens. We're walking right now on Irving. So the streets here in the Sunset are, they're numbered north, south, and then east, west. They are alphabetical. So you have all the letters of the alphabet. So Irving, for example, Judah, Kirkham, Lawton. Those are the first few streets. And then we were just at La Playa, which is the end, and then we're walking up to 48th Ave. So really easy to understand the streets here in the Sunset. It's a grid-like system, and we are walking up Irving right now to some cute businesses, a little pocket. It's a 1-block pocket of the neighborhood that I really love. I walk here actually from my house in the mornings. I go to I'm addicted to coffee apparently because I'm out of breath. Addicted to coffee because everything I'm pointing out are cute coffee shops, but everyone loves a cute coffee shop. So we'll show you in a second, and then show you in a second one of my favorite restaurants, and one of the spots that people who don't live in this area come across the city just to eat at. Okay, so one of my favorite pockets, it's actually just a very small pocket. There's like 3 businesses that I really like, but this is one block on Irving. On our left here is Hookfish Co., which is one of my favorite restaurants in the city. It's all locally caught fish, or I think most of it at least. Definitely Bay Area / West Coast of the United States caught, but they always have a fish of the day from around here. Some of my favorite things to get there, you can get like a fish and chips, you can get fish tacos, basically any type of fish dish, fish burrito, a fish sandwich. So yeah, anyway, people love coming out here. It's a really kind of local feel. I think it's a Sunset business owner. But yeah, you can see the ocean from here. And then up on my right, we have a bookstore, which is super, super cute. It's called Blackbird Books, and coffee shop as well. It's a coffee shop and bookstore. They have a little backyard in back where you can go sit and bring your coffee. It's just a nice little oasis. They have events as well throughout the week, like, you know, little events where you can bring your kids and there's someone reading a children's book, or yeah, like children's story time. So that's a super cute place. I will come here from my house, walk through Golden Gate Park, and stop there for coffee in the morning. And then another spot that's really cool is Mollusk Surf Shop, which is on the corner up here. I don't know if you can buy surfboards there, but you can definitely buy some really cute kind of like sunset attire, surf attire. The Sunset really, more than the Richmond and more than our third neighborhood, has a much more surfer feel to it. They have a lot of surf shops. There's a board store where you can buy wood, kind of locally made wood boards. So you have that. I think you have 2 surfboard shops. You have a few surf kind of vibey shops. So it's definitely feels like a kind of hippie back in the 70s surfer vibe. I don't think the Richmond has any of those businesses, so you definitely get that feel here. Another great business here is Yoga Beach. It's yoga studio. I think they do hot yoga, regular yoga. They do prenatal and postnatal yoga as well. And that's about it for this section. We're back at our car. We're gonna go take you to one other spot in the Sunset on Noriega, a few more businesses I want to point out, and then we're going to get soon to number 3 on our list, the third neighborhood. Let's go check out the rest of the Sunset. Okay, so we are going to head to one more strip of the Sunset, and while we drive, I thought I would share a little bit about the inventory out here. So what is so different from the Sunset and the Richmond? I mentioned earlier that there's not a lot of condos in the Richmond. It's mostly single family homes, but there's far more condos in the Richmond than there are in the Sunset. The Sunset is pretty much exclusively, I'd say like 95 or 90, even maybe like 98% of the inventory in the Sunset is single family homes. You'll see to my left, like there are all these kind of boxy, multicolored, same floor plan for the most part, very similar square footage homes. So you really know what you're getting out here. The Richmond and the Sunset, I'll get a little bit more into pricing when a little bit later when we talk about our third neighborhood, but the price point for the Richmond and the Sunset is pretty much the exact same in terms of average price point. I think year to date, they actually had the exact same average or price per square foot or average sale price. But with the Richmond, there's a lot more mix of inventory in terms of scale and size of home. whereas the Sunset is pretty cookie cutter. So as you can see, the houses all kind of look alike. The reason people move out here is they have a better chance of getting a single family home out here because there's so much to choose from, a lot that comes on the market, and the price point isn't the lowest in the neighborhood, or in the city rather, in terms of price per square foot for these homes, but it's on the lower side. So you have a lot of entry level priced single family homes here. Another reason people move out here, it's generally flat, I would say. As you get more into the inner Sunset, you get more hills, but generally flat. There's not a lot of walkability in terms of there being an abundance of restaurants and coffee shops and things like that. You obviously can walk to the ocean when you're on the outer piece of the Sunset. I'm gonna show you right now, we're coming up on Noriega, which is pretty much in the center of the Sunset. We have the pizza place on Noriega right here. Good spot for pizza. You have another Devil's Teeth. We saw one of those in the Richmond coming up here on our left-hand side. Again, good beignets and breakfast sandwiches. And then I'm making you switch the camera every 5 seconds. But you have a great taqueria, a good sandwich spot, Yonkers right there. You kind of have every type of cuisine on the street. We just passed Toyo's, which is, I think, a Korean spot behind us. On the corner here, you have a burger place. They also have good veggie burgers. And then up here on our right is my favorite grocery store in the city. I think there's about 5 of them throughout, but Gus's Community Market. It's a smaller market, but you pretty much have everything you could want. Really, really great produce. You definitely pay a little bit of a premium to shop there, but it's just a good kind of vibe in there. My husband is a snob about his groceries, so he only wants to go there. But that's kind of the end of Noriega. As you can kind of get a vibe in these outer parts of the city, your commercial strips are like 2 or 3 blocks long, versus our next neighborhood, the Marina, has a, here, let's go up one more block, has a ton more restaurants. It's a very, very happening neighborhood. We'll get a peek in a few minutes, but it's sleepier out here. So back to what I was saying earlier, the reason people move out here is affordability of a single family home. They don't care about sun. They don't care as much about walkability. Maybe they're surfers. Maybe they just appreciate the opportunity to be by the ocean. But definitely foggier, as we know, out here. I'm gonna drive up to, we're gonna head to the Marina now. It's our 3rd neighborhood on the list. And it's about, I'd say about a 15-minute drive from where we are right now. Super pretty drive. It is the one neighborhood of the 3 that is actually on the bay versus the ocean proper. So we're gonna mix it up a little bit and give you something kind of new and fresh to look at. Okay, so we're here at our final beach neighborhood with the most quintessential San Francisco backdrop, the Golden Gate Bridge. We are here at Crissy Field Beach, which is so, so beautiful. You can see Alcatraz in front of you, all of these sailboats on the water. Because we're in the bay here versus the ocean, it's a lot calmer here. You're not seeing these huge waves like Ocean Beach, so it can be a lot more friendly for swimmers, dogs, beachy kind of feel, and it's just, I mean, absolutely stunning. You're looking at the Marin Headlands. There's not as much beachfront here compared to the Sunset, for example, and you have to actually walk a lot further as a resident of the Marina to get to the beach, because there's a lot of kind of greenery here. You have all of Crissy Field, so it's a little bit harder to access, but it's just so stunning. Worth the trip for sure. It kind of has a beachy feel as well because you have a yacht club, which is right in front of me here, the Marina Yacht Club, and you have all of those sailboats touching Marina Boulevard, which is kind of a swanky, the swanky street in the Marina with all of your bay-facing properties. So, so stunning. Some other things that make this a very kind of quintessential beach environment. You have these coves here. I can actually see a few people swimming in the water right now. I don't even think they're wearing wetsuits, which is kind of crazy. And if you go further along the bay here, you have what's called Aquatic Park, which is another inlet where a bunch of people go to swim. There's actually a swim club called the Dolphin Club where people just do laps. I think it's like a quarter mile, I may be butchering that, but I think it's about a quarter mile worth of swimming territory where people can go in the morning. I think they swim in like as cold as 50 to 60 degree waters, which is crazy. So you have those vibes. Also, when you get closer to the Golden Gate Bridge, you have this really epic surf wave. It's called Fort Point, but if you're a really avid surfer from anywhere around the world, you probably know about it. It's this wave that only is working a certain percentage of days in the year, but when the conditions are just perfect, you will see surfers catching this wave that's right next to the Golden Gate Bridge. And so I've gone out there with my camera. I love to take photos, taking photos of the surfers right under the bridge. It's so stunning. So you get that kind of beachy surfer feel even in this part of town as well. I want to take you to the downtown of the marina. The marina, even though it doesn't have as much of a beach feel because it's a smaller beach and it's a little bit less accessible, what you think of when you think of beachy neighborhoods, you think of like a lot going on, a lot of action, people working out, people being really active in beautiful weather. And I think the marina has a lot more of that than the Sunset and the Richmond. It is a neighborhood where I think if I were to tell like a young college student fresh out of school, where they're new to San Francisco and they want a really happening area, I would tell them move to the marina. It has some of the best restaurants, some great bar scenes. It's just very happening and young and youthful in a lot of ways. And I wouldn't say that about the Sunset and the Richmond. It's quieter, sleepier, a little bit more residential. So this neighborhood is very different in that sense. So I want to walk you to Chestnut Street, which has the main kind of strip of restaurants and bars, and of course, yes, coffee shops. So we'll go there in a second. Come follow me. But I mean, let's take another look at just how absolutely stunning this backdrop is. I mean, is there any other beach in the world that's quite as beautiful as this one? I don't think so. Okay, let's go check out Chestnut Street. So if you're thinking about moving to this area and you want to understand real estate around here, let's take a deep dive in terms of average price points and inventory for these areas. So the marina is the most expensive by far. So in the first 6 months of this year, there were about 13 single family homes that sold in this neighborhood with an average price point of around 4 million. In that same period for condos, there were about double the number that sold with an average price point of about 1.5. Average price per square foot for that was around 1,200. For the single family home, it was around 1,500 a square foot, so considerably more. For the outer Richmond, you had in that same period 36 single family homes that sold at an average price point of about 1.85. For condos, you had about a third of that inventory for condo sales. And condos were an average price point of about 1.1 to 1.2. So get a pretty good deal that's a little bit lower than my property sold for. So think about something kind of similar to that. And then for the Sunset, you basically have no condo inventory. So there were the same number of single family homes as the Richmond sold in the Sunset, so 36 in that period. No, absolutely zero condos sold. So there really isn't inventory for that. The average price point for the single family homes was 1.45 with generally speaking the same-ish price per square foot as the Richmond, but as we mentioned earlier, just the scale of homes in the Richmond is bigger, so that's why you get that $1.85 million average for single families versus 1.45 for the Sunset. So definitely more of a premium to be in this area because walkability to that commercial strip that we're going to see in a second in the marina is very prime for San Francisco. You get more sun here as well. And then the sleepier, kind of foggier nature of the Sunset and the Richmond to bring that average price point down. Let's go take a look at Chestnut Street and I'll show you those restaurants that I love in that area. Okay, so we just made it to Chestnut Street, which is the main street in the marina. It is about, I'd say, I'm looking down, I just looked down that street, I could see the ocean, but it's probably about 5 blocks away from the ocean. I want to get a look over here on our right. This bus is going to hate me for pulling over. I'll put my blinkers on. But A16 right here on our right is an awesome pizza Italian spot, always really highly rated. You have a little outdoor area. A lot of the marina has these outdoor booths for eating from COVID, which I love. Also makes it really hard to park. But here on the left-hand side, you have another kind of old school movie theater. I love this one. I always meet my friends here who live on the opposite side of the city from me. But basically like every inch of the street is something cool. There's a few gyms. You have a Crunch Fitness right here. Probably one of the best sushi spots on the right here in the city. Mama Noko is a really, really great spot. I think they have pretty good cocktails too, if I remember. So I would definitely check this out. Ooh, on the corner here is, so Original Joe's is a kind of chain-like Italian spot that there's one in North Beach in Little Italy. But they just opened Little Original Joe's, which I don't know the difference between little and just big or just Original Joe's straight up, but they just opened this. It's looking completely packed inside, so hopefully it's good. Over around the corner here, you have things on Chestnut here, but then you also have these side streets that also have good restaurants. You have Roma Antica is one of the best Italian spots around. Oh, this place here on the left, Suvla, they have a few locations throughout the city, but it's Greek, amazing salads. And they also have this Greek yogurt, like froyo, and they put olive oil and sea salt on it, which is amazing. Kind of like a basic-ish taco spot, Taco-licious on the corner. Always good to have one of those around. Cute bookstore. They just have everything here. I'm driving super slowly because it's kind of bumper to bumper here. It's a Friday night. It's like 5 o'clock on a Friday, so people are getting out of work and coming down to the marina. Coming up here, we have Della Rosa, which is one of my favorite spots in the city. You can get pizza, like wood-fired pizza, great cocktails, really good vibes in there. Obviously you have like your Starbuckses. There's an Apple store coming up here. Sunglass Hut. So you can do some shopping on the street as well as there being good restaurants. They have a Marine Layer, a Madewell. And then there's another spot on the corner up here called Poppy's Oysterette, I think is how you say it. That is also new, and I've seen that on some like top lists for restaurants in the city. Obviously oysters. So I'll need to check that one out as well. Ooh, there's a Vans. I didn't know there was a Vans here. Sweet Green. So you just have like everything here. It's like your fun, young, youthful spot in the city. It basically goes on for, I'd say there's like eight to 10 blocks worth of just back-to-back shops, restaurants. You can definitely pick up some food here and take it to the beach or take it to Crissy Field, watch the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, we just turned off of Chestnut Street. We are heading out of the marina. Hope you enjoyed our tour of the best beachy neighborhoods in San Francisco, but if beaches aren't your thing and views are, you'll want to check out this video. And if you're thinking of making a move to San Francisco, we'd love to be your real estate resource. So reach out to us if you need anything at all, and we hope to help.